Plan the parade, everyone. Plan the parade. The Sharks are victorious in New York. We'll break it down as David Quinn gets his first win as a Sharks head coach against his former team right now. And we'll talk some jerseys as well. This is Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is October 20th, 2022, and the San Jose Sharks have won a game in the 22-23 season. They defeat the Rangers in overtime, and we welcome you to this edition of Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive Sharks postgame. So if you want to be a part of the show, Teal together and join the conversation and chat with us and along with fellow Sharks fans in Sharks territory and all over the world on the YouTube page or the app. And, of course, follow us on the social Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, Reddit, Discord, TikTok, and of course, smash that subscribe button on YouTube. You can find everything at tealtownusa.com. And if you want to support the pod, you can do a super chat donation or you can Venmo us at tealtownusa. And with that, I say hello to a fellow guy who spells his name the right way. It is Erik Landy.
We did it. I was rooting for chaos here.
You weren't the only one, I think, to be quite honest. And we had chaos as we went on the air, which was really weird. But hey, you know what?
We almost had an oh no moment. Oh
no! Oh no! My goodness, what a third period and what an overtime from this team.
Yeah, I mean, kind of a weird game. Very, very quickly in that first period, the Sharks looked a little shaky, but they ended up weathering a few different storms. Were able to get, a couple of lucky bounces and, a little bit of a flurry in the third. And we get to overtime. So, anything happens in overtime and, Karlsson gets the winner and sends the Sharks happy home or on to the next opponent. I wish it would be heading home, but back over to New Jersey and
then Philly to finish it up.
Yeah. So, good for the Sharks to get the first one out of the way. You like what you saw with regards to, the effort tonight. I think we were talking off air, it's not really been an effort issue with this team, but it's been a lot of mental mistakes, have been a lot of issues in and around their polish. You wish to have, you wish you wouldn't have taken those 5 penalties to give those, blue shirts the power play because it's deadly coming into this game. But again, weathered the storm and able to get it to the extra frame and able to put it home.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful night all around. Just kind of going through the initial chat while that's happening. Shoe shine, the 1 in 81 dream begins tonight. Richard Perez, regardless if your team tank, it feels good to get to win a game like that. And it's just. Larry Johnson, of course. Wow, Erik Karlsson actually trying.
Thing, right?
It's something special. Tony Couture, amazing overtime shift by Meyer, Karlsson, and Hurdle against Panarin, Trouba, and Trocheck. Great effort by Meyer and tenacity. Many bad bounces throughout the game. Quinn drove them to a new high. And I'll give, how appropriate is it that David Quinn, who got his first NHL victory against the Sharks, gets his first Sharks head coaching victory against the Rangers. Oh, the irony.
Poetic, yeah. Irony, ironic. I don't know. Again, good to see, him to come back into the Garden and get that win. And again, I think stunned quite a lot of people tonight with the way in which the team was able to get that extra point in the extra frame. So, I think again, you wonder a little bit about that opening frame, and for me, that those first
Ugh.
2 minutes were like, hold on to your butts, because this was going to be one of those skating type games, and it went by really quickly. What was tonight's game time? Do we
I
do we
mean,
have
if you go with starting at 4 o'clock, and I don't know, probably what 10 minutes has surpassed since we. I mean, 2 hours 40 minutes, not too bad, but yeah, it really sped up, and then it's all of a sudden. I think it kind of came to a crashing halt, like after that last timeout with like 5 minutes to go, and then you had another one at 3 minutes to go, and then you had had to go into overtime. So it really got staggered, but yeah, it went several minutes without a whistle there, for sure. But yeah, getting back to early on in the first period, it was a nightmare. You saw them coming out strong, and within 20 seconds had two shots on goal. Then you had
James Reimer had
dude,
very good lateral movement tonight. That was one of the first things that I saw coming out, of that first period, was just like, man, Reimer can still push across the net really well. And he's one of those guys that is 100% effort on all the pucks, and you saw him diving out and making acrobatic saves. So it was nice to get the guys settled in for that, the power play that would be coming up. And again, just kind of settled them down a little bit, because New York came pedal to the metal right out the gate.
yeah, and the Sharks weren't helping things out. They had Kunin took a penalty, and Kunin took a hat trick of penalties, unfortunately, tonight. One of his roughest games as a Shark. We'll get into more of that, but not even a minute in, he takes an interference call. Then Benning shoots a puck over glass. Congratulations, Benning. I think you're averaging a penalty a game now. Way to go there. Thankfully, the Sharks get out of that. Then Sammy Blais takes a tripping call, but then finally a top nine forward gets on the board. I think they hadn't had a top nine forward score a goal in the last 3 games. It's been that crazy Gadjevich, Sveshnikov, Nico Sturm line.
Yeah, that really, the tertiary scoring was really what all the Sharks could show for the last 3 games. But Logan Couture on the power play, his second of the season. Kunin, now you got me doing it. Kunin and Karlsson,
sorry,
with the assists there. And on this one, just pure effort play by Logan in the front of the net, able to sky it up into the top left-hand corner, kind of backhandish. And again, though, as soon as they scored that goal, you could see the sigh of relief off of Logan's face. I mean, he just looked so into it in that goal. And really, I mean, I think Sharks fans everywhere kind of breathed a sigh of relief that they finally scored on the power play, because the team had looked so inept on the power play. But the special teams, I mean, would be the number one factor in tonight's game.
Big time. I mean, the Sharks entered tonight 1 for 19 on the power play. They go 1 for 3 tonight, so a little bit of a boost. It's 1 for 3, but I mean, you'll take the effort. But the Rangers had 4 power plays in the first period. In a period where the Sharks got the only goal to make it 1-0, they dominate again in the first period, 7-1. Outscoring their opponents in the first 6 games. But I mean, Landy, this could have been a disaster if the PK doesn't get it done.
Yeah, the PK or James Reimer. I mean, New York actually outshot the Sharks 8-5 in that first frame, and they looked like they should have scored at least 2 goals from just the sheer lateral movement that you were seeing. I mean, there was really, really great chemistry between Panarin and Mika Zibanejad tonight, and just those cross ice passes, and then the kick out to Adam Fox. I mean, man, this Rangers team is going to be scary.
They're going to be scary, and you know what else is scary? The second period for the Sharks.
Yes. I mean, we really need to now dissect this. This is multiple games over, continually being outscored in that second frame, and not giving themselves a chance to win games by getting down in the second so badly. And today, they would only be a -1 in that second period in the differential, but still, it's continuing to have a problem in that second. And again, it comes back to the way in which they're managing their time on ice shift length wise. It's also not accounting for the extra long change. So this team is, again, the mental fragility, the mental awareness. I need to see more. They need to really be on their toes in that second period, and they really need to be taking shorter shifts. And again, they could have lost this game because of the second period. Luckily there were some heroics, but still, when you're continually putting yourself behind the eight ball in the second period, trying to make it up in the third, you're going to lose more games than you're going to win. And it's just that simple.
Yeah, and getting outshot 13-4. Yeah, they gave up 2 goals. You got one back. I mean, nice to see Radim Shimmick get on the board. It was a nice pass from Nieto. Oscar Lindblom got the secondary assist on that one.
Yeah, they put themselves behind the eight ball with the Philip Cheadle goal at a minute 50 in.
Yep.
And then Panarin comes back at 9:05. So it really took that second goal for them to get whatever kick in the pants they needed to get to try to put some rubber on the net. But it looked like New York was toying with them in that second period. And again, a lucky bounce and a lucky shot from Radim Shimmick. Lindblom and Nieto with the assists there on that one, like you had said, another secondary scoring type goal from the third line. But if you continually do this, Erik, I don't see this team showing improvement from last year.
No, I mean, this is worse. I mean, just God, I mean, to continue to have second period woes, teams are just gonna be like, oh, let's just ride a wave out of the first period, and then you know what, we can get them in the second. However, things changed in the third period, going in with a 2-2 tie. San Jose out shooting. This is crazy. San Jose
16-2
outshot them like that, and I think the Rangers hadn't had a shot on goal for like over 13 minutes in that frame.
I'm like, I wondered what team stepped out of the ice on that third period, because it looked completely different. It looked as if this was a team that was mentally in it. It looked like a team that all wanted to push for their first win of the season. And I saw great individual efforts. I saw some systems play starting to be formed. And again, I don't know what was said in that second period, second intermission. I don't know if it was, something coming from David Quinn or something coming from the team, the team themselves. We heard Nico step up and be very vocal in the locker room. Maybe you've got the players maybe taking some accountability, but from that third period on, the team looked like it shifted the ice and shifted the narrative. And again, not sure where that came from, but it was good to see the team really put a big pushback. Just another Andy G, thank you so much for the super fun. Erik, you want to put it up?
Yep. Working OT in the ER took some inspiration by the Sharks. Figured some of the bread needs to go your way. Tank for Bedard is on, but happy to get an exciting OT win. Go Sharks, Randy. Hope you're doing all right, my friend. Working overtime in the ER, and you're watching us. I see you have good priorities, my friend.
He's probably got one of the AirPods on, just listening live. So we appreciate it, buddy. But yeah, again, it just a complete narrative shift in that third period, and really playing some shutdown defense. Tomas Hertl, driving to the net and could have actually scored to seal it up in that third period, but Igor Shesterkin really standing on his head.
Igor being Igor, I mean, he's had a heck of a run, and for the Vezina winner, he showed and kicked some butt in this one. I mean, to stave off that onslaught just like Reimer did. I mean, you kind of expected it from Shesterkin, but you know, that's one's a tough one, and he made them hang in there in overtime, and in overtime, I mean, the Rangers didn't get to their side of the ice, which is nice to see some dominance from the big three, the three that should come through in the sense, Tomas Hertl, Timo Meier, and of course Erik Karlsson.
Yeah, I mean, much maligned, a guy that we've all wanted more from, and being in a good position in front of the net. I liked he was very, very active, I think, and you could see tonight he was kind of all over the ice and, being the difference maker that he needs to be. So I don't know if this plan of giving Erik Karlsson more minutes and Marc-Edouard Vlasic more minutes is starting to pay off. Maybe, and I was thinking about this midstream, maybe Vlasic is a guy that needs more time on ice in order to continually keep his game honed. I mean, maybe it's because of the extended shifts and knowing that he's going to be spending 20 minutes on ice, he's got more conservative motion and he's using more of his stick like we saw Marc-Edouard Vlasic in his prime. So could that be chicken or the egg kind of situation here? Maybe. You also like to think about, again, Erik Karlsson getting 24 minutes of ice time tonight and showing what he can do and maybe skating with a little bit of extra pepper tonight. So I don't know, maybe it's trying to get some rejuvenation for these guys. Maybe it's style of play, kind of, playing with this Quinn style, but again, two guys that needed to really show through this season especially with the lack of depth on that defense. Don't look now, but they're starting to find a little bit of a groove back there.
Yeah, you get to see, and you see tonight how the departure of Brent Burns has really changed the minutes. I mean, usually it was just Karlsson, Ferraro, and Burns that were doing all the heavy lifting. Now you have Erik Karlsson 23.54, Mario Ferraro 23.02. You see Matt Benning, who I'm still up in the air about right now, playing 20.40. Marc-Edouard Vlasic a little over 20 minutes. Magnus 17, Radim Šimić 13, and 13. He got 13 minutes. He got the goal. Granted, we talk about how Vlasic seems better. And even Ricky Bartensliger was saying it in the chat. Vlasic clearly did some off-season work. His skating form is far, far less bow-legged than it has been a couple of seasons.
Again, maybe it's a conservation of movement thing. You know what I mean? And you laugh, but guys change their stride when they know they have to play longer.
Yeah.
And that's just a mindset thing when you're skating, because when you're a forward getting maybe 8 minutes a night or 12 minutes a night, you have that pressure of needing to do something with the small amount of ice time. Yeah. But if you're gearing yourself to be skating for 24 minutes, you've got to start thinking about economics of your skating stride. You have to make sure that you're not overexerting yourself, because it's all about the number of shifts you take, not the length of individual shifts. When you've got 20 minutes of ice time, you're logging.
Yeah.
So it's good to see. We all like Vlasic as a longtime Shark, and we hope he can finish up his career all in Teal and stuff. But he's got to want to do that.
Yeah, he's got to kick some ass. That's what he's got to do.
Yeah, and he's got to show that he's worth the value that he's taking from the cap. So again, good win, good feels for the team on this overtime win. You saw it on everybody skating out, to celebrate James. Heck, even in the corner, they're all very, very amped up, very, very emotional. I'm sure David Quinn is breathing a sigh of relief. Sharks Nation, Teal, all the Tealing together, we all kind of breathe a sigh of relief. Okay, finally, the first one's out of the way.
Yeah. Now you can lose the rest of them. You can lose 76 more. That's fine.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it. But again, we want this to be a foundational type year. We want to have good habits. We want to make sure that it is an environment for young players to come into and to flourish. The Sharks are clearly transitioning. There's clearly a need to build up the talent pool and to keep young players engaged in making sure that they're fighting for spots. So again, you don't want to be having massive losing streaks and guys chewing out players in the locker room or talking about their fragility of mental state or what have you. It just, for an organization, it's just some good juju. So that's good.
Yeah, I just think they needed to get. I don't want to say give a damn because that has such horrible connotations to it, but show that passion, show that fire in the belly, and just get going with this team. And I think it really showed after that tying goal from Radim Shimmick. And of course, it comes from a guy who you're not expecting to score. I think he's got like 7 goals in like 170 NHL games. The concern I have as we move forward here, Kevin Labanc, Staten Island native Kevin Labanc, scratched for this one. Noah Gregor's been sitting out.
That's
for
an
a bit.
expensive scratch, is all I gotta say.
And to do it in the hometown.
This is a guy that needs to have a 50-point season. This is a guy that needs to really show he can continue to play in the league. Because we're like we had said prior, and like I have said prior shows, he's one or two bad stretches away of being out of the league. Because if you can't make it on a Sharks team that's 1-5, and you can't bring positive things to the table for a team that's giving you every opportunity, to put pucks on net, to get those assists, to get that time on ice, then I don't know that there's a place for him on any other team.
And this is the wake up call. Now you'll have a set of back to backs, and you'll have a practice tomorrow, a morning skate tomorrow, where, all right, you want back in, you want to play in front of your family and friends. You better bring it. You better bring it and be ready to roll. I think he's shown flashes, but you need to have more than just flashes. Ricky asking, do you think there's any chance we sign Reimer? There's an outside chance, but I mean, honestly, that's going to be your big trade piece at the deadline right now, as many teams need goaltenders.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's on an expiring contract, needs to be looked at as being a trade asset. I think, James Reimer, I love what he brings to the table. You look at his age and you say, this is a guy that's 34. How many kicks at the can is he going to get? And so you got to think that he's a candidate to, especially if he plays well, to get the Sharks at least a 3rd round pick or a 2nd round pick. It's some kind of asset, because putting a James Reimer on your team will give you a chance to win. I mean, again, he held them in that first period and really gave the Sharks the ability to come back in overtime to get it. I mean, again, I think he's going to be more of a piece that you're going to want to try and extract some value. And the Sharks are in this mode of replenish, and they need to get assets right now. That's what they need to be focused on, is collecting assets, whether that's collecting assets from better drafting position because of where you end on the season, or better assets because you're able to get some value for some players. But again, there are guys on this team that haven't shown enough based upon how much they're making. And when you get down to having an asset depreciate like that, it's really hard to move it. It's really hard to move stagnant pieces. So anybody who's thinking, oh well, we could just trade LeBanc, but it's like, who's gonna take that? I mean, again, if you can't make it on the Sharks right now, you're you know there's only maybe two or three lesser talented teams. So again, there are some guys that need to prove it. LeBanc, I hope, gets the message that there's no free lunches, and
Yeah.
there's a price to be paid for a lack of effort and for mental mistakes. I think tonight Cunnin is a guy that needed maybe he needs a little bit of a sit down, because taking three penalties,
Yeah.
not good. And that last one in the third period with 15:02 left in the game, you can't take that penalty there. And we both looked at it. He's trying to do a stick lift, but he completely whiffs.
Yeah.
Completely whiffs.
And that's the tough part, because I mean you're trying to do the right thing and it just doesn't work, and it doesn't work out for him. And I bet three penalties. I kind of was gushing about him, early on, and that tonight's not one of his best nights, and I'm sure he'll want to get back into that. LeBanc, I mean, I know some of the chat. I know Dave's talking about it. Cole's been talking about it. Yeah, he's not exactly on the best lines, but you also need to make yourself time to shine too, at the same time. So let's hope that's the case. And Marty T, like, thank God Sturm drew a retaliation penalty at the end.
Yeah, well, that we were talking one guy that's brought it, one guy that's been a real bright spot in this turd sandwich that we got served up in the first 5 games was Nico Sturm. I mean, this is a guy who is gritty, got a lot of heart, and really a good locker room guy to bring in. And I can see why management targeted him as somebody they wanted to bring in, because again, a guy that calls it like it is, a guy who knows where he is in the lineup, knows what he brings night in and night out, and we continually see him doing great work with his line mates, doing great work on the PK, and good for him to get that retaliation penalty or that trip or what have you. But just a guy that I'm always seeing moving his feet. And so for me, there's always room for guys like that on a team.
Absolutely. And we hope you right the ship and everything on there. We're getting some quotes in now. Shang, thank you, bud, if you're watching. David Quinn on how fragile the Sharks turned it around tonight. He said, I can't go to CVS and buy confidence pills. Hashtag no free ads, David Quinn. You get them by playing the right way and doing the right thing and watching your teammates do the right thing, and it just started to snowball.
Yeah, and again, leading by example, the captain scores first. Leading by example, a third pair defenseman getting an important goal in the second period to stop the bleeding, and then a guy that is paid like a superstar, played like a superstar. And when you get those things working, this team can show you that it's maybe not as big of a pushover as it has been in seasons past. But again, this is one game. I need to see that this isn't just a fluke, or that this just isn't, that the foot comes way off the gas pedal when they play, the breakfast game in New Jersey. They need to show that, if they really have aspirations of not being a transitional team, and being a team that can, fight for something, then they need to continually put period after period, stack period on top of period, um, and need to clean up second periods. That needs to be the blinding message going forward: is clean up your second periods, watch your shift lengths in the second period, and don't make lazy changes.
Yeah. No, it's again doing those right things. I think, as David Quinn was talking about, previously, not cheating or anything like that, or shortcuts for that matter. And they didn't show that tonight. Yeah, it starts with, they get that confidence boost again, like I said, with the Shimmick goal, and then just dominate the third period. If they can build off of that, I mean, that'd be great to have going into New Jersey for sure. So, Sharks win this one 3-2 over the New York Rangers. They play again on Saturday morning against the Devils. But Landy, I think it's time to have some fun. I mean, we've already celebrated a victory. It's win number one. We had a fun unveiling today, and it was these bad boys. Yes, the reverse retro. What it is already whipped. I mean, they are paying homage to the 1974 California Golden Seals with this look. Instead of sharks, it's got seals written in front of them. There you go with the model. I mean, it's pretty spot on with the fun as always. Adidas always kicking butt on getting that accuracy going on there. A slight reverse retro on the main waist stripe, going instead of the yellow with two teal stripes on each side. They go a big teal stripe with the yellow on there. We'll talk about this first, but Landy, honestly, what did you think of it?
My first words to you, it was kind of bland. There's a lot of white space, and we got some people chiming in on the chat, but this is one of the more blander of the Seals jerseys that they could have reverse retroed. I think we both had said, had they gone with the inverse teal with white font, that it would have looked superb. Again, we talked about incorporating maybe a California Seals logo snuck in there somewhere, or a shark fin, or something, at least a little bit of iconography instead of it just being a word mark. So for me, it kind of left a little bit to be desired, to be quite honest with you.
And I will say I wholeheartedly disagree with you, which is rare for us, since
I mean, we're pretty in sync on the jerseys, but I think you like this one way more than I did, and again, I think to each his own.
Yeah.
But it for me at least, they did pick one of the more blander of the Seals jerseys to reverse retro.
Yeah, see, the one that came out last year, that was like the Team Classics, that was like green and gold. It's like, okay, that looks sharp, but it's like, that seems like a classic typical hockey jersey. And the original Seals ones, yeah, I really like that, but you already have a stripe going on with it. With these, I almost call them like the UCLA like college football stripes. I think they're unique to it.
You know what it is? It reminds me of the Chargers.
It's that arched stripe up top, and that's something that was strictly only Seals. So I think that's why they went with it. I'm with you. I think it needs like a shoulder patch or something, or even if you're gonna do like that word mark, which is kind of baseball style, maybe where like the number is, underneath like the R, K, and S in Sharks, maybe you put a logo there or something, or even on the arm, since you know the striping is down at the bottom. I think this really, can look promising all in all. I mean, I'm a jersey snob, so of course I'm going to get one of these. But
Yeah.
it's just beautiful. But going overall, there were a lot of new looks. Some of them I like. Some of them I'm thinking,
I think we were
what
both
the heck are
pretty
you doing?
much, yeah, pretty much. If we just go run down the reverse retros that were released today, the Montreal Expos kind of homage didn't really do it for me.
No.
I really liked the Florida Panthers look. I thought that one with their logo, the sunrise logo, was done well. Of course, the original Kings logo looked good as well. You've got the Colorado Sea. It was okay, kind of bland. Um, I dig the Kraken though. I mean,
Oh yeah.
the Kraken's looks pretty dope. I mean, it's got almost like um Metropolitans feel to it. Like they pulled from the old school. So I really dig that Kraken jersey. Um, I think the Blues jersey is quite nice. Peyote Coyote will always get a thumbs up from me. Statue of Liberty from the NYR from the Rangers is always clean and classic. You got Fish Stick Islander.
Yeah, Fish Stick Islander is very disappointing to me. When
They should have embraced it more.
yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, we're gonna go navy, we're gonna go orange, we're gonna reduce the heck out of teal, and I think it needs some teal. Doesn't need to go full on teal, but and heck, bring back the lighthouse patch that was on the shoulder. One
Oh,
of these,
that was so
that
cool.
was really dope, man. I
Yeah.
mean, that was really, really sharp. For me, I love the Kraken one. That one's great.
Yeah.
Colorado, not bad, but I'm kind of getting tired of that C on their flag being used everywhere. I loved what the Colorado Rockies did for their City Connect jerseys. Uh,
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I've always got room for Wild Wing Mask from Anaheim because I was a Mighty Ducks fan growing up when the movies came out. So to see that logo on the ice is always nice to see from my perspective.
right.
Um,
The
you
Lightning one. Oh
the
my
light,
God, I love
yeah.
it.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, you should embrace it, and
Exactly.
that's really that's the name of the game with the Lightning one. And heck, I mean, I even like the Edmonton Oiler.
Yes. The
I
oil
know
drop.
yeah, the oil drop is controversial among Edmonton fans. I think it's pretty cool. I like I really actually like the stripes on the sleeves. That looks very, very crisp. Vegas, I'm not, out of all of their jerseys, that's the least horrible one they've got.
And I love how they did it too, because they don't
Yeah,
have a whole lot of history. I like how they did Las Vegas Thunder, last time around. This time, that Vegas is in
yeah,
the font of the Excalibur Hotel.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I'm thinking like old school Vegas, 60s Vegas. And I like that word marking there.
Yeah, and then
Robo Penguin.
yeah, and the Stardust font on the back, and it glows in the dark for that matter.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know, Kevin, you're hitting it spot on the head. That Penguin one is literally the only actual true reverse retro, and that one's so sharp.
That's the jersey that Yager wore, right? I
Yeah,
mean, and it's awesome. I like the Penguins never really disappoint with their secondary
no,
jerseys.
and you can't go wrong with Lady Liberty. The one that really disappoints me is Carolina. You just unveiled that jersey like 3 years ago. And if you're gonna have a model unveil it, please, for the love of God, break out David Ayers. I mean, I mean, come on. Of course, Minnesota, you can't beat the North
See,
Stars remake.
I would see I like the colors, but I think what I would have probably liked to have seen is the Minnesota word mark, the M that the North Stars used to have, or you could go like M and N with like a North Stars kind of twist to it. Um, but I like the fact that they brought the colors over.
Yeah.
I mean, those colors are important to that team,
Yeah.
to that state. Um,
I give them a
you know,
couple
one
years before they make those permanent.
Yeah, the one that I think I had most feel was most missed on it, that Capitals jersey, man. I'm not digging that Capitals jersey.
I mean, they were unique colors back in the 90s with that fancy blue and the black and bronze. I think it's a great colorway, but when we saw it, a couple of years ago in the red and the blue, that looked just amazing.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. That's what I think.
and I'm a little iffy on Anaheim going to the original colors. I love the logo, but the current colors on it, I'm like, I kind of just wish they would have eggplant, jade, and add orange to it, and I think that would just look so crisp on it.
Well, but again, we're proponents of, continuing to use the heritage logo from Anaheim and continuing to use our heritage logo
Right.
for that matter. Because to me, though, when you had those two play against each other with both of those logos on the ice, it just looked so cool with the triangle backs. It's so retro 90s, I guess. That's what I think about it. So, but good on the Sharks to really continue the heritage of the Seals. It's something that we don't talk about enough in the Bay Area. I think, it was kind of a short-lived team, a team that didn't really get much love when it was here in the first place. But again, good to see that the Sharks bring that colorway up somehow. If it were me, I probably would have reversed the color palettes, making the teal the main color and then the white as your off color from like the 75, 76 years. I think that would have looked a little bit nicer. Or even going to the Kelly green yellow look. You had the Kelly green and yellow Seals look as well. But again, a missed opportunity without a logo for me.
Yeah.
I don't know who owns the logo set for the Seals anymore.
We knew it used to be would be the North Stars, and if you're a fan of the NHL games, just toggling through the Stars jerseys on there, you would go through Cleveland Barons, the North Stars, the the Seals, and everything on there.
So maybe it would be Dallas.
I believe it would technically be Dallas. Of course, the Sharks are considered a separate franchise from the Seals, but as we saw before, I mean, we're seeing it tonight with Colorado's reverse retro. They're kind of homaging the Rockies. The Devils are kind of homaging their original location in the Scouts with that red, yellow, and blue. So it's interesting to see, and I think it's a new look, and it's finally time. It's been a while since a very rare time that the Sharks have actually had an homage to the Seals. I think they had a Seals night one time, and
yeah.
and I think that was it. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see that they get that going. But you know what? Yeah, AJ, you're right. Who owns the Seals rights? It's complicated. A couple of chefs in that kitchen, that's for sure, and they're all trying to figure out how to make pasta jambalaya at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, because again, if you take that Kelly green and goldenrod, that's North Star colors, right? I mean, so there's a lot of cross pollination because of course the Guns, coming from Minnesota, bringing getting the expansion out here, but again, a lot of Minnesota ties to the Sharks,
Yep.
Some Dallas ties too. For that matter. So it's kind of interesting. But again, good on the Sharks for pulling one out of the out of the old photo album and updating it for 2022. So
Can you name one player who played for the Seals? Yes. Bobby Bond was their first captain. Gary the Cobra Simmons actually had worked out with my stepdad for years ago, and everything. I actually have a little autographed picture from, but I think his mask is in the Hockey Hall of Fame. But just that black mask with the green cobra snake in front of it. I mean, that was always on the early day of where the artistry was coming out of the mask for that one. So. Tell us what you think. Let us know. Do you like the reverse retro? Do you like where it's going, or were you like maybe me, where it's like maybe we'll finally get that black, original style down the road. Maybe they're using it as a third jersey next year. I don't know. Just a hunch. Jonathan Becker, if you're watching, call me. I'll help you set it up.
Ooh, so you're thinking Black Armor 1.0 making a return.
I'm saying the original style, just the original style. But in black. Like we remember those black starter fashion jerseys? Yeah.
Yep.
I would love for that to happen again, and then we can put the circuit board stamp on it as well. So
I mean that's not a bad idea. I mean, and I was even floating around Black Armor 1.0. I mean, the original Black Armor, that was a good look. But again, they need just bring back cartoon shark. Just embrace it. Just do it. We need some more cartoon in our life.
Yes. And with that, we shall get out of here. In case you missed anything, when you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or smash those likes, subscribe, and bell buttons on our YouTube channel. They do go a long way. And of course, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch the replay on here on YouTube. Of course, you can hit us up on the Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Odyssey, and a bunch more. So with that, my friend, I think that'll do it for us. Your final thoughts on where the people can find you.
Final thoughts are continual foundation building. Get those good habits. Clean up those second periods. And as far as where you can find me, you can use my first name. That's Erik, spelled the right way with a K.
Damn right.
Last name Landy, Landi, across all of the social media garbage. I don't hide myself. Just come and find me.
All right. I'm at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. Appreciate you being here with us. Of course, tell all your friends. Make sure you like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell. It really does go a long way. We'll be back with you Saturday afternoon.
I will. That's a Erik hosted show, so I'll be flying.
Thank you. It's much appreciated.
Breakfast with the Sharks.
Absolutely. That is so Landy will be hosting with who do you have? Is it Dana? Oh,
Dana
awesome.
will be along with
Dana's going to smash that post-it note over under.
Dude, I took the over.
Right. So check us out then. Maybe there might be a Barracuda After Dark after their first home game. We'll see. The only way you'll know is when you hit that notification bell when we go live after that. So for Erik, Landy, I'm Erik Kura. Thanks for watching. And until next time, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you after the Sharks and Devils Saturday afternoon. Enjoy your French toast with the Sharks. Good night, everyone.